Page, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City proceedings will begin. The board is now in session. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or silent mode during proceedings. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, preliminary matter on the AM docket, page number 2, case number 5-60004 North Chester Street, a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on November the 28th, 2018. This case has been postponed. I call the case of Jerry's Bar, 604-06 Poplar Grove Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December the 12th, 2018. Please come forward.
Before we begin, good morning, everybody. Today's docket is comprised entirely of violations of our rules, so in the event that there is a sanction imposed by way of a fine, I'll ask those after their hearing is completed to go to the back of the room where Jared is seated at the table and see him about the arrangements for paying the fine. Morning.
Good morning. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of licensee.
Morning. With those who are involved, please raise their right hands.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Is this an admission or denial?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. Good morning.
Okay. So on December 12th, there was a sale of a bottle of Pineapple Amsterdam vodka. Is that correct?
That is true.
Okay. So what would you like to tell us?
Effectively, in this case, Ki Suk Kim, the employee who made the transaction, the licensees report that he's 60 years old, that he needed bifocals and wouldn't get them. He's now got new glasses. In the meantime, though, they're in the process of purchasing a scanner so that no matter what the eyesight of the employee, that they can use technology to help determine and help comply with the law. As you see, they did have a sale to minor, and that also, I believe, involved Mr. Kim. They have seen him make no such mistakes since this incident, so I would ask that you consider that. Mr. and Mrs. Park are dues-paying members of the Poplar Grove community, and I thank you very much.
Were they cooperative with you? Very cooperative. Okay. So what are we doing about Mr. Kim? He's got new glasses, and he can tell somebody's age now? I mean, how close do you have to get? But, okay, let's encourage him to do this. The difficulty is that you've had the license for 8+ years, and this is the third sale to minor, so that's a problem for you. But otherwise, I understand your explanation. Let's encourage him to be very careful and to use the scanner. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the admission, proffers from counsel, and testimony, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01A on December 12, 2018. In light of the this record, I would impose a $1,500 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 12, 2018, and I concur with a $1,500 fine given the record before us.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A on December 12th and would concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please see Mr. Jared there in the back.
I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Clark. Thank you.
Amco Liquors, 2802 Edmondson Avenue. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 12, 2018. Please come forward.
All those involved, please raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
What are your names, please?
Peter Cho.
Peter Cho, and you're not Dorothy. You can put your hand down. Okay.
My wife is sick.
Okay, that's okay. Mr. Cho, you're charged with sale to a minor on December 12th. Do you admit or deny that that happened?
Yes.
You admit that it happened? Okay, do you want to tell the board what happened on that day? Do you have any explanation for why?
I'm just guilty. Guilty.
I understand that you say it happened. Did you want to say anything else?
At that time, you say, my store is a lot of drug dealer coming. You go call the police. Now waiting for maybe 30 minutes. Police don't come in. My drug dealer is argue. Take it out. Maybe a 15 or 20 minutes. Younger drug dealer. After they gone. After some.
Okay. You've had this license for a long time,
Yeah,
1993. But this is, over the period of that time, the third time there's been a sale to minor. So otherwise, your record is good, but you have a problem with this issue. We were here, it's been almost 10 years now. Actually, it has been 10 years since the last time. I don't know. Have to have some consistency, though. So I would, on the basis of your admission and the other materials contained in the charging documents, were they cooperative with you? And on the basis of your testimony, I'd find that there was a violation of Rule 4.01A on December 12, 2018. I'd impose a $1,500 fine and give you 30 days to pay.
I, too, find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on December 12, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine and 30 days to pay.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, and would agree with the imposition of a $1,500 fine.
Thank you, sir. See the gentleman in the back, please.
Title call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Clark.
Rosie's Bar, 482 South Bentlow Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December the 12th, 2018. Violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, on January the 22nd, 2019. Please come forward.
All those involved, please raise their right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And what is your name, ma'am?
My name is Brenda Ziegler.
Okay, Ms. Ziegler, there's two violations charged here. One, a sale to a minor on December 12, and one, the fact that your Department of Assessments and Taxation found that your corporate status was forfeited as of January 22, 2019.
I forgot to pay the fee. I was in the hospital in June. I had emergency surgery, bowel surgery, and I forgot about it.
Well, let's
I've
take them
been
one at a time.
constantly-
Let me ask you first, did the sale to the minor occur on December 12?
Yes, it did.
Okay, and you're telling me that it was in forfeit status on January 22. Have you paid it since?
I called my tax man, and I sent him a check, and he was supposed to attend to it. I called him last week, and he said he was going to attend to it this Monday. I gave him $163 because he said it was going to be a fine.
Monday the 11th or last Monday?
He was going to go
No,
see
but
this.
you haven't seen anything from them since? Okay.
No, I didn't have a chance to call him yesterday.
Okay. So what happened on December 12 with the sale to the minor?
She had only been working for me for 2 months. She was still under training, and I explained all the rules, and she was guilty.
Okay.
And I fired her the next day.
All right. And were they cooperative? Yes. So this license has been there since 1996, but there is some record. You've got sale to minor in 13, gamblings in 12.
That wasn't,
Sale to
that
minors
wasn't
in
under
6.
me, sir.
6. You mean you were not, well,
I wasn't the owner back then. It was Mr. McCavovich.
well, you're both on the license though, right?
Same corporation.
Until the loan is paid, sir. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, there's a long history, I'm afraid. So I would, on the basis of your testimony and the other materials contained in the charging documents, find a violation of Rule 4.01A on December 12, 2018, and a violation of Rule 4.16 on January 22, 2019. As to the first, I would impose a $2,000 fine and give you 30 days to pay. As to the as to the second violation, I'd impose a $200 fine and give you 30 days to pay.
How much, sir?
$2,200 total, plus the administrative fee.
And I'm being charged for when Mr. McCavovich had the bar?
No, these are for the December 12 sale to the minor and for allowing your license, your status to go forward fit in January.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 12, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $2,000 fine. I also find a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, on January 22, 2019, and I concur with the imposition of a $200 fine with 30 days to pay as to both.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A would concur with the imposition of a $2,000 fine, and also find a violation of Rule 4.16 and would concur with the imposition of a $200 fine.
Thank you, ma'am. Please see Jared in the back.
Item call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, STEP printout. Board Exhibit 3, investigation report, Agent Clark. Thank you.
Upland Liquors, 4001 Edmondson Avenue. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 12, 2018. Please come forward.
Gentlemen, please raise your right hands.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
What is your name, sir?
S-U-K-O-H,
Mr. O,
yes.
correct? Okay. So you're charged with a sale to a minor on December 12. Do you admit or deny that that happened?
My wife was sick, because I work all day. I'm trying to close. Just they coming, that's why I didn't check the ID.
Okay, so you're admitting that it occurred?
Yeah,
Okay.
first time. I've been there like almost 20, but I never do that.
I understand. So this is your first violation, and you've had the license since 2003.
Yeah.
So 16 years or so. Were they was he cooperative with you? Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
All right. Thank you, sir. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging document, your testimony, and the other testimony received, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01, small a, on December 12, 2018. I'd impose a $500 fine and give you 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 12, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $500 fine with 30 days to pay.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A and would concur with the imposition of a $500 fine.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Item call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Clark. Thank you.
OK Tavern, 2301 East Biddle Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on November the 28th, 2018. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Frank Scholas, representing the licensee.
Good morning. Would those who are going to testify raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Admission or denial, Mr. Shawless?
Admission, sir.
Okay. Do you want to explain?
Yes, sir. What happened was Mr. Cho was on a supply run. His worker was in there, and a relative of Mr. Cho's stopped in the store. The worker went to the bathroom. Somebody came in, or the people came in, and the lady, the relative, waited on them and didn't check ID.
Let me just, the Mr. Cho to your right, is this Chris Cho or Chang Cho?
Chris Cho.
Chris Cho, okay. I just wanted to clarify for the record. Thank you. Okay, commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
Question?
Cooperative? Okay, Mr. Shawless, they've had the license about 9 years. but they had a sale to minor last year and a BD7 violation the year before. So on the basis of the admission, testimony received, and the other charging materials, I would find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on November 28, 2018. I would impose a $1,200 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A sales to minors on November 28, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,200 fine with 30 days to pay.
I also find a violation of Rule 4.01A and would concur with the imposition of a $1,200 fine.
Thank you.
Under call exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice.
Eric 500 East North Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on November the 28th, 2018. Please come forward.
Counsel.
Good morning, Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of licensee Ms. Sung An is present.
Good morning, Ms. An, and officers, please raise your right hands.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Mr. Fogelman, is this an admission or denial?
This is a denial, thank you.
Okay. Who's going to testify? Inspector. Please identify yourself for the record.
Agent Chris Malice, Baltimore City Liquor Board. On or about November 18, 2018, at approximately 21:15, I, Agent Chris Malice, while on duty and working with the underage task force consisting of members of the BDPD Vice Unit and Baltimore Police Cadet, were conducting underage investigations throughout the city. We arrived at 500 East North Avenue in the city of Baltimore, state of Maryland. Once at that location, Cadet Agrad, who was under the age of 21 at the time of this investigation and who was working in an undercover capacity, entered the location known as Eric 500. Once inside, the cadet made contact with a cashier letter identified as Mr. Anthony Miles. The cadet purchased a 24-ounce Yingling and used the departmental $20 bill. Once the cadet received change, he exited the location, notified the members of the team that he had been served. We entered the establishment, identified the server, recovered the departmental 20, returned the change, and explained to the server that she had served an underage police cadet, and we explained the process. We left the location without any further incident.
And were they cooperative with you?
They were.
And is the cadet present?
He is to my far left.
Okay. And cadet, is that an accurate statement?
Yes.
Yeah. Crossy.
Cadet Agard,
Yeah, I need your first name.
Christian.
Christian, how do you spell your last? Oh, I got it, thank you.
Mr. Fogelman, do you have questions?
Yes, and obviously, Agent Chris Malice, you drafted this investigation report for the BLLC, isn't that right?
That's correct.
All right. You were not present inside the bar, though, isn't that right?
I was not present when the cadet was served. That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. No further
Anything
questions.
else? Okay. And you want to be heard?
Yes, I do. This bar's been around for a while. It has been run by Ms. An for years. Ms. An probably made a grave mistake by allowing Mr. Mialis to continue to work at the store. He's only worked there 4 years, but this is the third time that he has sold to a cadet. And Mr. Mialis is long fired. There's no way to go back in time. Ms. An has had an extremely difficult time financially and finding reliable help. It's proved nearly impossible. So she is selling the establishment. It is her only source of income and her number one asset. I'd ask the board to consider those things. She understands that there's a penalty. There's always been a penalty involved for this kind of conduct. She's 100% ID checking, but like I said, she may have allowed an employee too many chances.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Cooperative? Okay. Thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the testimony received, I would find a violation of Rule 4.01, small a, on November 28, 2018. Just to clarify for the record, this, Ms. An has had the license since June of 2012. We have, this is her 9th or 10th time before the board for violations, including lots of sales to minors and BG7 violations.
Looks like
et
this,
cetera.
there are 6 sales to minors.
So it's not a well-run establishment. I would impose a $3,000 fine, give her 30 days to pay that, and I would suspend the license for 3 days.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on November 28, 2018, and I concur with the $3,000 fine and a suspension of 3 days.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A and would concur with the imposition of a $3,000 fine and a 3-day suspension.
And when can that be picked up?
After the hearings.
So that will be effective then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice.
Carlton Liquors, 1900 West North Avenue. This is a Class A2 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December the 5th, 2018. Please come forward.
Would all those who are going to testify raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
And what is your name, sir?
My name is Chang, C-H-A-N-G, last name C-H-O.
Mr. Cho, can you pull the microphone over to you, or can you push the microphone so he can be heard a little bit? Okay. So you were charged with a sale to minor on December 5, 2018. Did that happen or not?
Yeah.
You're admitting it. Okay. Do you want to tell the board what happened on that day?
So I'm Hannah Cho. I'm his daughter.
Okay. H-A-N-N-A-H?
Yes, last name.
Okay, Ms. Cho.
He was closing up, and that's when the cadet had come in, and that was the time of closing, so he was kind of in a hurry. But he has also received a letter from you guys, the board, in September of demonstrating responsibility of alcoholic beverage sales. I just wanted to let you know that that had also
Yeah, so
occurred.
they made an effort then, and you successfully took care of that.
Yes.
Okay, and just for the record, so this license has been with you since 1997. This would be the second sale to minor. Okay. Were they cooperative?
Yes, sir.
And did you, anyone else, did you want to testify, sir?
Yes, sir.
Please identify yourself for the record.
My name is Dr. Marvin Cheatham. I'm president of the Matthew Henson Neighborhood Association. We sadly enough are experiencing a number of these violations. The fact that we are in a small neighborhood, it has a major impact on us. That, you know, we think if the liquor board were to send officers there every week, we think you would find violations every week. It just impacts us so greatly to have so many liquor stores in one small area. And at some point in time, every 2 to 3 years, each one of them are being found guilty of the same injustices. We feel, one, we're the neighborhood association that got the fines doubled 4 years ago. We had legislation passed because it's really a slap on the hands if you don't really give them the largest fine possible to try to deter them from selling to children. So we have another case, same neighborhood, that we have to come up, which is even a more stringent violation of the trust between communities. But we ask that you try to give these liquor establishments who seemingly have no relationship with the community. This group, we hand deliver to them every 3 months information with relative to our neighborhood, our meetings, and inviting them to join us. They don't belong to the neighborhood association. They're making money from us, and they're selling liquor continuously to our children. We think it's too much of an impact. We implore you to give as stringent a fine on this, and hopefully the next one as well.
Thank you. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the testimony received, and your admission, sir, I find a violation of Rule 4.01, small a, sale to minors on December 5, 2018. As I said, the record indicates that you've had the license since 1997. This is the second violation. So I'd impose a $1,000 fine, and I'd give you 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 5, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine with 30 days to pay.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A and would concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine.
Please see the gentleman in the back.
Thank you.
Title call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Inspector Perez.
Doc's Liquors, 1501 North Fulton Avenue. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 5, 2018. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kaninsky, representing a licensee.
Good morning. Would those who are going to testify please raise their right hands?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Kudensky, admission or denial?
This will be an admission in this case here. The individual that made the sale, the store is mainly run by Mr. Gabriel and his son. This was an employee that is no longer there, that was only there for a short period of time, made the mistake of not checking in the cards. We've talked to Mr. Gabriel and his son to make sure that whoever comes in, they check their cards. It was been 3 years ago, they had a similar type violation, but it's been 3 years in between. The time of the old violation now, he and his son now have sort of tightened down the hatches here to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Cooperate? No, not cooperate. Would you testify, please, Inspector?
Andy Perez, Baltimore City Liquor Board. The person that made the sale, he was very uncooperative with the staff. He wouldn't give his name. He even said that he didn't work at the store. It was a very hard time for us trying to identify him. Once the owner was going into the store, he showed up about 10 minutes later after the violation. He was cooperative. He gave us the information we needed to issue the violation.
The individual that was given a hard time had some immigration problems.
I mean,
Didn't want the Trumpster to get involved.
yeah, we don't have a lot of evidence of that, but okay. Do you have any questions for the inspector?
No, he seems like a nice enough fellow to me.
Okay. Did you want to testify again, sir?
My name is Dr. Marvin Cheatham. I'm president of the Matthew Henson Neighborhood Association. Let me first indicate in your files is a memorandum of understanding that was signed between both the Matthew Henson Neighborhood Association and the co-owners. That document was dated 9/7/2014. We do know that you have it in your file because your staff sent us a copy indicating that you did in fact receive it and do in fact have it in your file.
That's accurate.
Okay, we also want to indicate that our community association having experienced so many sales of liquor to our children, because that's what they are, they're children if they're not old enough to purchase liquor, that we had a House bill introduced to double the fines of liquor being sold to children. That was House Bill 868, introduced into the Maryland General Assembly on 2/19/2015. That bill actually was passed. We're hoping to go back again and ask for even more, because in the article that also appears to be in your record is an article written by the Afro-American newspaper indicating the delegate who introduced the bill, he's a senator now, Delegate Antonio Hayes, basically indicated that many of these liquor establishments make the amount of money that is in a fine, they make it within 1 day, which means the fines that we're having are slaps on the hands. You know, they're making this within 1 day, the amount of money that we're charging for fines. We would say this, our community is inundated with liquor stores. If you look at these red stars, this is just our community. These are the liquor stores just within one community. Let us also say that the stars. The stars are the homicides. You can see the comparison where the homicides are, they are liquor establishments. What we also have is open-air drug markets. Our neighborhood, we're in the Western District. Probably 7 of the last 10 years, we have been the neighborhood. The Western District is the one that seemingly leads year after year in the number of homicides in our community. We don't think it's any accident that we have so many liquor stores and we have so many open-air drug markets. The problem that we have here that we really want to point out to you is the proximity of our high school that's in close proximity to this one particular liquor establishment. Make certain I got the right addresses. Hey, with me a second. Here's Doc's Liquors. This is Doc's Liquors. The high school is 5 blocks up the street. Same on Pressman Street. Pressman Street, the corner of Fulton and Pressman is where Doc's Liquors is located. That is the 1700 block of Pressman Street. If you go to the 2200 block of Pressman Street, that's Carver High School. We know it's having a major impact because we have 2 lots that the community owns. One is in the 2000 block of Pressman. What we find on that lot, there's no other liquor store in that area, are miniature bottles. We know the miniature bottles are being sold by Doc's Liquors. We are asking if you actually increase the number of investigations of these liquor stores in our area. We feel each time you go to them, you will find them guilty of selling liquor to children. We're saying something more stringent has to happen because to have this many liquor stores in one area and then have each of them taking turns as to who gets caught selling liquor to children, it has to stop at some point. We either have to say we don't need them in our residential areas, and we're not against liquor stores. I ran a bar myself for a while. We're not against drinking. We're not against alcohol establishments. But when they negatively affect the same communities over and over, and all they're getting is a slap on the hand, they can make that much money in one day, then it's not really punishing them. It's saying continue with business as usual. And I'm going to close with a couple more statements. I appreciate the opportunity. Carver High School, as I said, 2201 Pressman Street. This is at the corner of Pressman and Fulton. December 19th, this location, homicide, right in front of that building. December the 19th of this past year, homicide right at that location. We have given 911. We're hoping the police have the record. We have called each month for the last 3 months, 911, to report open-air drug sales in the store and in front of the store. Send someone right now, and I'm hoping somebody's watching this in video. If you're watching it, go to Fulton Avenue and Pressman Street, and I guarantee you, you're going to see someone standing there selling drugs either in front of the store or inside the store. And we're saying enough is enough. Why does one small community, many communities in the Western District, and I'm listening to Western, between Western and Southwestern is where many of these fragrances are taking place. We're saying something more has to happen. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago with 9 different liquor stores. Guess what liquor store was not there? The 2 that were here today did not see fit to come to the community meeting. The memorandum of understanding that we signed, the only way we agreed to have this transfer of the liquor license is that they signed a 3-page document promising what they would do with our community. They have violated all of them. Please look at the document. The document was created as a result of the attorney representing them and us meeting privately to say, if y'all continue with these things and you do them in good cooperation with the community, we will support you having a liquor establishment. They have failed since the signing of this document. And it is a document that was a part of your record. It is a part of your record. We're saying they are in violation of the memorandum of understanding. They have been caught twice selling liquor since they've had the business. They have 911 reports that have been made about drugs being sold in the premises. In this place, it's 5 blocks down the street. We're talking about small blocks. We're not talking about long blocks. Carver High School is right up the street. And we know our kids are the ones that are buying the miniatures. I clean the park up on Payson and Pressman Street, 3 blocks up the street. There aren't any liquor stores in the area but that one. But every week when I clean it, I'm cleaning up miniatures. We know it's coming from the kids. So we implore you to put more than just a fine. We think a suspension is warranted. Our preference is we would like to see the business closed because they violated the memorandum of understanding that we took the time to come up with this group, and they basically have not been supportive of the neighborhood. They basically have been a detriment to us.
Thank you. Commissioners have any questions?
Do you want me to respond to that, or you? Okay.
Okay.
Just if I may, the address of 1501 North Fulton Avenue is under the new zoning compliance and must comply no later than June the 4th of 2019 or will be phased out.
And they're aware of that, I take it.
Current usage as an
It's
alcoholic
another
beverage establishment.
fly in the ointment.
Okay.
Yes, wanted to put forward the information.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the admission, the testimony received, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on December 5, 2018. In light of the inspector's testimony, particularly, I'd impose a $1,500 fine. I'd give you 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 5, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine and 30 days to pay, given our inspector's testimony.
Given the inspector's testimony about the uncooperative employee, I too would find a violation of Rule 4.01A on December 5th and would concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine.
Please see the gentleman in the back.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Inspector Perez. Community Exhibit 1, email dated 1/30/2019, and MOU. Community Exhibit number 2, news article. Thank you.
Wooden Nickel Lounge, 2213-15 Kirk Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on November the 28th, 2018. Please come forward.
Who's on this case? All right. With those who are involved, please raise your right hands.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes,
The licensee is a William Foster.
yes, that's my stepdad. He's 82 years old, so.
And what is your name, ma'am?
Wanda Corprew.
Wanda Corker?
Corprew, C-O-R-P-R-E-W.
C-O-R-P-R-E-W. Okay, Corprew. Ms. Corprew, your stepdad is charged with a sale to minor on November 28, 2018. Did that actually happen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you want to tell the board what happened on that day?
My
What is your name, ma'am?
right here.
What is your name?
Tamika Thompson.
And were you there?
Yes,
She
I
was-
the one.
Can you step up to the microphone, please? Ms. Thompson, what happened?
That day, I was very tired, and I had people in the back, and the young man came in, and I normally ask for the license, the ID, but it was so busy in the back that I just sold him the liquor. I did. We don't have no excuses.
Okay, I hear you.
Don't. So
That's
now
fine.
I'm in proper training to run the back and the front. Everybody that come and get ID, I don't care how old you are.
Well, and I will give you, you've had this license, at least Mr. Foster has, since 1990, and this is the first violation, so. Were they cooperative?
Very cooperative.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions?
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of your admission, the testimony received, the materials containing the charging documents, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on November 28, 2018. In light of your record, I'd impose a $500 fine and give you 30 days to pay.
Thank you.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on November 28, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $500 fine.
Can I say one thing? I was
Just let this gentleman speak first, okay?
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A on November 28, 2018, and would concur with the imposition of a $500 fine.
Ms. Corprew, what did you?
I wanted to say, I was listening to the young gentleman talking, and my stepdad is, we part of the community association. We help out at the rec centers. We clean the neighborhoods. We don't keep no drug dealers in front of it. And I'm pretty sure the cadet that was out there never seen any of that in front of our bar. So we try to do the right things and help out the community and everything. So you do got some good bar.
You have a very good record, thank you. Let's make sure it stays that way. Thank you.
I'm gonna try my best. Y'all have a nice time.
Like Hall Exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Amalis.
Ninth Liquors, 5139-41 Park Heights Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 5, 2018. Please come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees. Present today is one of the licensees, Mr. Hopton Waldemariam. This will be an admission.
Okay. Would Mr. Waldemariam and the other inspectors please raise their right hand?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Previs?
Thank you. On this occasion, Your Honor, Mr. Waldemariam was working behind the counter, and he was dealing with his wife and children at home having an argument, and he was distracted by the fact that he was on the phone trying to deal with domestic issues, and just let his guard down, and he totally admits that that did happen.
Do you cooperate with you, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, testimony received in the admission, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on December 5, 2018. The record indicates a sale to minor last year and a BD7 violation the year before. I'd impose a $1,500 fine and give him 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 5th, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine with 30 days to pay.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A on December 5th, 2018, and would concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine.
Thank you very much.
Like Hall Exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Inspector Perez. Thank you.
Heights Liquors, 5302 Park Heights Avenue. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 5, 2018. Please come forward.
Will all those involved raise their right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
What is your name, sir?
Jay Liu. First name is J-A-E, last name is R-Y-U.
Ryu? Did I say it correctly? Okay. Do you admit that this happened on December 5 or
Yes,
deny
it's
it?
been my established is 17 years. First time is I'm entirely lost my mind that afternoon though. So, you know.
You admit the error?
Yeah.
You admit there was a mistake?
Yes, I did it then. So it's yes, recently since been 4 or 5 years I work by myself. So really exhausting that night. So even though I had a mistake, but you know, since been I have acting with the community association with the CAGRO, had been a long time working together. I know what to do it, but I had a truly made a mistake. Please forgive me, yes, and then you know, I'll get that this time is my experience in the future. I'll do not gonna do over again, please.
Was he cooperative with you? Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
All right, sir, on the basis then of your testimony, your admission of the violation, and the other materials contained in the charging documents, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on December 5, 2018. Last violation was 10 years ago, and there's only been that one. So I'd impose a $750 fine and give you 30 days to pay.
The last violation is found not guilty.
Oh, it was? Okay. Let me.
According to the.
He was.
Oh, okay. So you're right. I stand corrected. Let's make it $500.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sales to minors on December 5, 2018, and I concur with a $500 fine and 30 days to pay.
Okay.
I find a violation of Rule
Sir.
4.01A on December 5th, 2018, and would concur with the imposition of a $500 fine.
Yeah, I apologize for the mistake.
Thank you.
Like Hall Exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Inspector Perez.
Good Times Liquor and Bar Lounge, 1600 West Baltimore Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 5th, 2018. Please come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensee, Mr. Thomas Kim, who is here present. This will be an admission.
Good morning. All those involved, please raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Previs?
Thank you. When this occurred, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kim was working in the tavern area. He had a young lady who was a cashier in the carryout area. It was her second day on the job, and she did not card the cadet, and apparently she was just not getting it, and he had to let her go because she was just not understanding the how she needed to do her job. And he does admit that this did occur.
Okay. And who was involved? Did he cooperate with you? Okay. And you, sir, are?
I want to oppose this particular establishment.
Can you just come up and tell us your name, please?
Hi. Daniel Rodenberg, Union Square Association and Southwest Partnership. This establishment, Rodenberg, R-O-D-E-N-B-U-R-G.
And your first name? What is it?
Daniel, pardon me, first name. This establishment has become a nuisance property, and the fact that within the jurisdiction, within 2 blocks of 2 schools in both directions, Vivian T. Thomas and Stuart Hill, and it's become an open-air drug market of a lot of young drug activity. I don't see any option for them to actually been trying to alleviate this problem. It's been gathering for months, and it's become a problem to the business community along Baltimore Street. In fact, there is little business community because of what's taking stock on, in front of, and inside. Now, we know these drug markets use these storefronts, and sometimes they coerce them, but at the same time, they also go in and make change. So when these particular establishments constantly are utilized, they don't ask for help. I don't see them get the police there. So they're not really participating to the community, whether it's Franklin Square or Union Square, to try to stop this. Residents have been in fear because this storefront, this business, adjacent to another liquor store across the street, which doesn't have always the same problem, they don't seem to put up much of a fight. I would love to see them, and this pertains to the type of activity. It's young activity of young men who go in, and they probably are underage, and they're also buying liquor from them.
And are you a resident or a business owner?
I'm a resident.
Do you also own a business in the area?
I don't, but I'm within 1/2 block away on the 1400 block of Holland Street.
The commissioners have questions?
No questions.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Okay. And did you say it was cooperative? Yes. Okay. So on the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the testimony received, the admission stated on the record by counsel, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on December 5, 2018. So this licensee has held it about 8 or 9 years, and this is the 3rd sale to minor plus other violations.
The older violation was 2011. There was one in 2015. I don't know whether the board has a
2017.
set. Yeah, the 17 and 15.
Yeah, they're the sales.
I'm not clear if the board, I believe the current policy of the board is to look at the entire record and not have a set cutoff of any sort, like some district court judges might have on speeding tickets. But I think the last 3 years is probably most pertinent. So
if I represented them,
there are
I'd say the same
violations.
thing.
What's that?
If I represented them, I'd say the same thing.
Right. In any event, Mr. Kim just wants me to address one thing, and that is when you're operating a business in a particular area, you're not the police, and you're not with authority to confront people. What you can do is you can call the police, and you can make a report, and you can keep a record of that, and all of which he does. And he wanted to stress that he's not sitting by blindly. He is a victim as much as anyone else is. So the solution I've seen in other establishments is someone go in and undercover, and if you clean out about 4 to 6 people, the whole rest of the neighborhood is at peace again. And he's not part of the problem, he's trying to address the problem. Thank you.
Commissioners?
No questions.
Okay, did I already find the violation?
You
I
did.
think I did. So, in terms of a sanction, I'd impose, based on the record, a $3,000 fine. I'd give him 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a sales to minors on December 5th, 2018, and I concur with a $2,000.
$3,000.
Excuse me, $3,000 fine, 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A on December 5th and would concur with the imposition of a $3,000 fine. Would encourage also the licensee to actually meet with the community so that they can talk about what they're actually doing in concert, if that's the case, so that we can try and resolve these issues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council Exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report. Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report. Inspector Perez.
Do we have more?
I think we have one more.
Red Fox Liquors, 2733-35 Pennsylvania Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 5, 2018. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, for the record, Gary Maslin, Rothwell, on behalf of the licensees. This would be an admission.
Can I ask them to be sworn first? Everybody raise your right hand, please.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So it's an admission, Mr. Maslin.
That
What
is-
happened?
that is correct, Your Honor.
Did you want to give an explanation?
Yes, Your Honor. There was this is the first time this licensee has been before the board. He's had this license for many years.
Actually, it's the second time.
The second time? I thought it was the first time.
There was a tampering with beverage container back in 17.
Oh, it was the first time for a sale to minors.
Yes.
What I meant. But the employee involved here was distracted earlier because of the attempt to pass a fake bill through the store. And they were upset over that. Then the cadet came in, he looked at the cadet, you can see from the cadet, doesn't appear to be underage. I would think he was older, and he basically made a mistake. My client was extremely upset by this because he's very jealous of his record, and he advised him he had to card everybody. And additionally, he did take the added measure of having this gentleman TAM certified, the one that served the alcohol. So he has addressed it with the employee, had him go for alcohol training, and this is the first.
Do you want to make this part of the record?
Yes, and you can have that as part of your records
Was
there.
it cooperative with you? Okay. Did you have anything further?
No.
Commissioners?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the admission by counsel, the testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on December 5, 2018. In light of the record, I'd impose a $750 fine and give him 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A sales to minors on December 5th, 2018, and I concur with a $750 fine with 30 days to pay.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 5th, 2018, and would concur with the imposition of a $750 fine.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Inspector Perez. Licensee Exhibit 1, TAM certification.
Mr. Page, is that our docket?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. The board is in recess until 1 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Gary.
We ready, Mr. Page?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. Now begins the PM session of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or silent mode during proceedings. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, preliminary matters, PM docket, case number 1, Lombard Liquor and Bar, 1000 West Lombard Street. It's been postponed. I call the case of Indulge Nightclub, 403-05 East Baltimore Street. This is a class, This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, a Class AE adult entertainment license, here for violation of Rule 4.08A on October the 11th, 2018. Violation of adult entertainment Rule 3.05A on October the 11th, 2018. Please come forward.
Before you begin, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, the docket this afternoon is entirely made up of cases with violations of our rules and regulations. The board frequently imposes fines as a sanction, and if you are fined, I would ask you, after the hearing, to go to the back of the room where Mr. Ramsey is and meet with him. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of licensee.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So,
If I may, if we could request that this be pushed back 1 or 2 cases, the controller's on her way and parking.
Okay.
and so is my client, so they're
Okay.
racing to get here. See
That's
who
fine.
gets here first.
We'll hear it later.
Thank you very much.
1 second, I'm sorry.
Are we going to go to case number 8?
Yes.
The courtesy, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
for Attorney Gary Maslin. Admiral's Cup, case number 8 on the PM docket. 1645 Thames Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 18th, 2018. Please come forward.
Chairman, for the Gary Maslin, Rockwell, on behalf of Admiral's Cup,
Good afternoon. Can I ask everyone to raise their right hands, please?
and I'd like to thank the chair for allowing me to
You're welcome.
move ahead. So I
It
can
was
read the
actually
document.
Commissioner Hafey that was pushing for it. I'm kidding, but
You raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay, admission or
This
denial?
would be an admission.
All right.
If I could briefly, my
Amen.
client prides themselves on abiding by all the rules and regulations of this board. They went to the extra measure of hiring off-duty retired police officers to work their doors. They've been commended by this board for several times for turning away people coming in there. Even a situation which they thought was fail-proof, that their security people are experienced security people, they made a mistake in this case. What happened here was the one police officer, retired police officer, saw this gentleman outside and believed he had walked out of the bar to smoke a cigarette. And since he thought he'd already been in there and had carded him, when he came back in, he walked in the bar, went up to the bar. The bartender trusts the doorman because that is the line of defense, and the bartender did in fact serve him. Needless to say that my client's been very upset about this. Every single server in the bar is TAM certified, in addition to which the security people is hired are very experienced security people, but nothing, it illustrates that nothing a bar can do is
foolproof,
is fail-proof.
Detective, were they cooperative? Okay.
He is a member of the Fells Point Main Street Association, member of the community associations, and very active in the community. Matter of fact, he's about to be appointed as the, I believe, the future president of one of the associations.
And are we talking about Mr. Berg?
No, this is not Mr. Berg. This is the manager.
Oh, okay.
This is Mr. Maslin, not pronounced Maslin, not Maslin. No relation.
That's how you made the
They're-
mistake
they're
of
in
hiring him. Now I understand. Thought you were calling your brother.
No.
Okay, do commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, anything further?
No.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials containing the charging documents, the admission and testimony received, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on December 18, 2018. He's had the license since 2012, these licensees, and this would be their third sale. So I would impose a $1,500 fine, and I would give them 30 days to pay.
Thank you.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a sales to minors on December 18, 2018, and I concur with the $1,500 fine and 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 18, 2018, and would concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine.
All right, thank
Good
you,
luck.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank Commissioner Haffey for your advocacy.
Haffey.
I'd like to call exhibits for the,
My first name, Darren, D-A-R-I-N.
I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department Report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, Investigation Report, Agent Chris Malice. Yes.
Meadows Sports Lounge, 226-28 Park Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 3.08A, sanitation and safety on November the 16th, 2018. Please come forward.
Ma'am, are you here on this case? Yes. Come on up. All those involved, please raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
What is your name, ma'am?
Elaine Fordham.
Okay. So, Ms. Fordham, you're charged with a violation of sanitation and safety rule for November 16th of last year when the inspectors observed minor electrical violations, evidence of charcoal, hookah use to include pipes, charcoal briquettes, ashes, aluminum foil, and other violations. Do you admit or deny that that occurred?
It was there, yes.
Okay. Do you want to tell the board what happened?
At the time that they arrived, we were in the process of cleaning up. The bar was not open. The hand sink was removed because we had replaced the window, and the hand sink is now been reinstalled, and all of the infractions that were imposed were already abated.
And did the health department allow you to reopen?
Yes, they did.
Okay. How long were you closed?
For approximately a month and a week, but that was only because I went on vacation.
Okay. And were you there, Detective? Yes. Come on up. Please give us your name.
Joy Tejada, Baltimore City Health
Can
Department.
you spell your name for the gentleman down here on my left?
It's Joy, and then my last name's Tejada. It's T-E-J, A-D as in dog, A.
Like the gentleman who played for the Orioles?
Yes. And then this is the joint inspector as well.
Melanie Clark.
Okay. And what did you want to tell us?
So we conducted our inspection on November the 16th of 2018, where we did find health code violations and which warranted a closure. They were re-inspected by Melanie Clark, and they abated all the issues. They also lowered their risk level, eliminating a lot of the food processes, and they reopened back up on January 18 of 2019.
Was it closed when you went to inspect it at the time?
No, in the meantime, I think they were preparing to open. Yeah.
And did they cooperate with you?
Yes.
Okay. You as well?
Did they pay a fine at all?
They had cigarette butts in the facility, which we did issue a citation. We also had an environmental control board hearing as well, which they failed, or they were pronounced as guilty but reduced the fine.
Do you know what those numbers are?
The numbers
The
for
fine.
The citation?
Yeah.
So the citation was, let's see, $750, and it got reduced to $300. And their re-inspection fee along with the closure was an additional $100 with the conference and all the other processes to actually reopen back up.
So they paid a total of $400?
Yes.
Do you go back unannounced, and in terms of your process, do you go back unannounced and do a reinspection? How does that work to follow up?
So as their facility, they're a low priority, so they get it inspected once every 2 years. But since in the beginning, they had more food process going on, so they were a moderate risk, which they get inspected twice every year, if that makes sense. But
Beyond that, we'll do complaints. If there are complaints lodged, we would have to do inspections for those as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further?
Nothing
Did you want to say anything else, Ms. Fordham?
No, just reiterate that the infractions were in fact abated.
Okay. All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received as well as Ms. Fordham's admission, I find a violation of Rule 3.0A small a, 3.08 small a on November 16, 2018. Ms. Fordham, this record, which goes back to 2009, so almost 10 years now, doesn't show the kind of intentional violations we have here with sales to minors and other things, but it shows some difficulties in managing the operation, records violations and ownership and operation issues, and now sanitation issues. So whether you need some help with that or not, I don't know, but that's been your problem. It's not that you were trying to get around our rules, it's just that you weren't able to comply with our rules. So I would impose a $1,000 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
I too find a violation of Rule 3.08 small a on November 16, 2018, and I concur with the $1,000 fine.
I find a violation of Rule 3.08 small a and would concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine.
Thank you.
Good luck. I'd call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report. Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report. Agent Chris Amalis. Thank you. Then you can receive your in the back. Thank you.
We let the judge know the controller's office.
Sir, the previous case, the first case is here. If you
Okay.
Indulge Nightclub, 403-05 East Baltimore Street.
Thank you. My client is parking. The agent has arrived. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry?
Never mind.
Let's do one more and then we'll come back.
Where are we?
Jano Ethiopian Restaurant and Lounge LLC, trading as Jano Ethiopia, 34 South Utah Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 3.08 small a, sanitation and safety, November the 21st, 2018. Violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare, November the 21st, 2018. Violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, on January the 22nd, 2019. Please come forward.
Would all those involved please raise their right hands?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give? Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
What are your names, gentlemen?
Fikra Mariam, Worku.
Mr. Worku, and you are?
Detective Becker, BIS Protection and Security for Janos.
Okay.
Excuse me, I need your first name. Stephen, S-T-E-P-H-E-N.
Okay, Mr. Worku, you're charged with 3 violations, two on November 21 and 1 on January 22, sanitation and safety, general welfare, and then having your status with the State Department Assessments and Taxation forfeit.
I did. I already had paid, actually. They made a mistake. They gave me a paper of clearance.
Well, you can show us that.
Okay.
As to the first 2 where the fire department was involved, do you admit or deny that they occurred?
You know, what happened was I was not over capacity, but that night I didn't expect that many crowd. My security was 3. My capacity is 120, but I had about 115 people, but all of them were not in all floors. You know, when the music starts, they were cramped in one floor. And I admit that I should have used the second floor. I should have pushed the crowd, managed the crowd to go downstairs. But I was not able to do that. And then that's where the problem happened, because most of the people were upstairs on one little corner on the dance floor.
So are you saying that it did occur or not?
But it was not over capacity. It was.
So, okay, you're denying. So I have to hear from the detective first then. So can you testify, please, detective?
On November 21st.
Can you come over here, please? We need to pick it up on the mic.
Detective L.C. Greenhill, Vice Enforcement. On 21 November of 2018 at 11:15 p.m., myself from Vice responded to 34 South Utah Street to conduct a capacity check at the restaurant lounge identified as Jano Ethiopian. Purpose of the visit was concerning a Thanksgiving Eve party being held at the establishment involving a couple of local hip-hop artists. I arrived on scene to find a line leading to the upstairs of the club and a line of about 20 to 30 persons still waiting to get in. On the first floor of the establishment, which is the rear bar, the capacity is only 27 persons. The upstairs second floor of the establishment is a 90-person capacity. As mentioned, due to the excessive people standing in line, I was not able to get into the club from the second floor location. During that time, I did see Mr. Worku come out. He did lock the door, which unfortunately is a violation for the fire department. So he did lock the door, and we talked, and then we had to go around to the Lombard Street location to that rear bar, which is the 27 capacity. And once we got in there, we saw some females exited the bar, some of which was intoxicated, some of which did look under the age of 21. So we went in there and talked about him trying to, and once we got into that rear bar, it was no persons in that bar at all, and the upstairs lead to the second floor. So we talked, and I told him that at this point you got to try to get the place on, at capacity. He didn't have that much security working for the amount of people that he had there working. Fire department was called. I did put a call in to Lieutenant Holmes here and to find out who's the on-call fire marshal, but the fire marshal person did arrive on scene probably about an hour later. At that point, it got to the point where it was so crowded upstairs, people were engaging in fights and arguments, and at that point, I did have to shut the bar down.
Okay, and for how long was the bar closed?
Just for that night.
Okay. Do you have any questions for the detective?
Yeah, I went outside.
No, questions.
Yeah, questions, yeah.
Okay.
But I went outside because I saw the line, and I had my 3 securities inside. So
Is this a question?
Yeah, so when I stopped the crowd coming in, I just said, you can't come in.
Is this a question?
Yeah, that's a question.
You're talking, you're testifying.
I stopped them myself, right?
Yeah, but you did lock the door. I saw you take your keys out and physically lock that door, which you can't do.
And you had asked me if I bring the crowd from upstairs downstairs, I'm fine, right?
You were fine. You would just if you could try to do that, but
Yes.
at that point, it was getting to the point to where the upstairs people were It was so crowded, people falling out drunk, fights was engaging. At that point, for public safety reasons, it was a need to shut it down for that night.
I shut it down. I took my security. I said, I don't want the business right now. Just close this place. So
Have you been back there?
I was back there, matter of fact, last night.
For problems or because?
Just for capacity checks and for basically a history of the place.
Were they okay on their capacity last night?
The capacity last night was at, the security told me they were at 117, but physically looking at it, I would say they were at capacity of about 90.
Okay. And did you want to testify, sir? Okay, but can you identify yourself for the record, please? You're with the fire department, right?
Yes, Inspector Holmes, Fire Marshal's office.
And you were not there? Detective Holmes?
Inspector Holmes, Fire Marshal Holmes, Del Holmes.
Did you arrive?
No, I received the call and I contacted our deputy chief. And our deputy chief, he's unavailable right now, and so he sent me over as his rep.
I'm sorry, can you spell your last name? I think he
Holmes, Holmes, D-E-L.
Thank you. So what the detective has told us is accurate, to the best of your knowledge?
To the best of my knowledge and to the knowledge of what was given to me by the deputy
Okay.
chief.
And do you have any questions for the inspector?
No.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, on the issue of your forfeiture, you said you had a paper that showed that it was not forfeited?
And since then also, I have hired other professional. I've hired those people who were not protecting my place very well.
And this for the license. It's for the good.
So you got new security, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yes, protection. I'm paying 500 on average every night for a capacity of 117. 500, 5 people,
doesn't say
female securities.
Your charter, though, you said you had a paper.
Yeah.
Okay. But this was paid as of today.
Yeah, I know. I had paid long back, actually. I didn't have to pay anything today. When I went there, they said, you already paid, and they made a mistake.
So here, I have
I
the,
didn't pay anything today.
so wait, I have the articles of the articles or certificate of reinstatement for SDAT here, and that's what I think we're talking about, the forfeiture of the charter.
No, they made a mistake of.
Okay, well, let me ask my question. So here it says, the printout is dated today at 11:06. Did you file this? I understood your earlier testimony to mean that this charge was a mistake and error on January 22nd. When did you clear this up?
The State Department today.
Today, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. But the proper tax for the city, it was already paid 3 months ago. I don't know why they didn't clear it out.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, what we're looking for is a certificate of good standing issued by the Department of Assessments and Taxation.
Exactly. And they were not able to give me because they said the city.
That's what we're looking for, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do you want to submit these, or you want to hold on to these?
I will hold on to this because I'm going back to right.
Okay. Do you have anything further?
No, I just noticed since he hired a new security company, besides the violation, I guess, a couple days ago, other than that, he's running 7 days a week. There hasn't been no fight. We've been watching the capacity, and whenever the liquor board come, we've been within good withstanding so far as security measures.
Okay, commissioners have any questions?
No further questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials containing in the charging documents, the testimony received, I would find a violation of Rule 3.08, small a, on November 21, 2018, a violation of Rule 3.12 on November 21, 2018, and a violation of Rule 4.16 on January 22, 2019. So, had the license since 15. We've got sales to minors, prohibited hour violations on 2 occasions, and now these violations. I'd impose a $2,500 fine and give you 30 days to pay.
As to,
Oh, I'm sorry, I divide that, so you're right. I'd make it 1,000 on the first violation, 1,000 on the second, and 500 on the third.
I too find a violation of Rule 3.08, small a, on November 21st, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine. I also find a violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare, on November 21st, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine. And lastly, I find a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, on January 22nd, 2019, and I concur with the imposition of a $500 fine for a total of $2,500.
I find a violation of Rule 3.08, small a, on November 21st, and concur with a $1,000 fine. I find a violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare, on November 21st, 2018. Concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine. Also find a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, on January 22nd, 2019, and concur with the imposition of a $500 fine.
Thank you, sir.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1.
Thank you.
Baltimore City Police Department report. Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2. SDAT printout. Licensee Exhibit 1. Security plan.
Bel Air Discount Liquors, 3600 Bel Air Road. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 3, 4.08 small a, sanitation and safety, on November the 30th, 2018. Please come forward.
Please raise your right hands.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Your name, sir?
My name is Prakash Podel.
Podel, P-O-U-D-E-L?
Yes, sir.
So you've been charged with this violation on November 30th, disorderly stock distribution throughout the premises, cluttered debris around the hot water heater, lack of 36-inch clearance around the furnace and other utilities, improper blockage of egresses within the establishment, fire code violations. And were you closed on that date by the fire department?
Yeah, for that.
Were you there at that time?
Yeah, I was there.
And so you agree that this occurred?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you want to tell us why?
Actually, it was Friday, and it was the last week. And the previous week was, I think, Thanksgiving, and my worker called sick, so I was working alone, and I had delivery, and I was doing like minor construction. I was moving my counter to the other side of the store, so there was like a little bit of construction material, and since I was working, so it was a little bit messed up that time when they visited.
Inspector, can I ask you to step up, please? And state your name again, please.
Inspector Del Holmes.
Were you there, sir?
Yes, sir.
How serious were these violations?
They were extremely serious at the time. He had a very large amount of stock throughout the entire premises. He had exits that were blocked off. He had all types of debris around his utilities, which violated fire codes. And he also had a few electrical issues that needed to be addressed also. So all of these resulted in closing up the store for that.
And when was he allowed to open again?
It actually was opened on the 10th.
Of December?
Of December.
And did you go back to make sure that things were proper at that time?
Yes, I did.
And he had done that?
He had completed all of
So it's safe now?
Yes, it is.
And, sir, are you aware the Harbell Community Organization has sent us a letter about their concerns that a fire could spread throughout their community, et cetera?
That's another issue.
I mean, it's a real worry if you were going to continue the way it was.
No, it's not that way anymore. Like.
Okay, so you've only had this license a year,
Yeah.
and you don't have any history with us. But as the inspector says, these are really serious matters, so you have to pay attention.
Yeah, actually, I used to work there too, for 4 or 5 years. Like I was working part-time, and I got this store from the previous owner. So I'm there, but I don't know what's going on now. I'm working there at that store as a part-time for almost they got in 2014. I'm working there from summer of 2014, as a part-time, weekends and whenever they need help.
When you were working for the prior owner, did you have violations?
No, never.
Okay. Was he cooperative with you?
He was cooperative. The building owner wasn't.
that has nothing to do with me.
I don't fault you for that, but yes, I understand. Okay, commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right. Mr. Podel, on the basis of your testimony, your admission, the other materials contained here, and the inspector's testimony, I'd find a violation of Rule 3.08A on November 30, 2018. It's a relatively new license with no history of violations, and you were closed for about 10 days. Is that correct?
Actually, that was not the sanitation, but I had to get the electrical work permit, and it was Friday, and the offices were closed, and so I couldn't get until Thursday or after
I understand.
next week. That's why it
Yes,
wasn't.
I was just taking into account the fact that you lost your income for about 10 days.
And
So,
also I had to spend almost $3,000 doing the electrical work.
okay. Well, these are also serious violations, so I would impose a sanction of $500, and I'd give you 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 3.08 small a on November 30, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $300.
Well, do you want to make it 3 on it? It's up to you. I had said 5, but.
No, 500 is fine.
I find a violation of Rule 3.08 small a on November 30th. This is a serious, I do think this is serious, but since you were closed for 10 days, I would concur with the imposition of a $500 fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore State Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice. Board Exhibit 3, letter from Harbell Community Organization dated 1/26/19.
Mystic Tavern, 2949 Frederick Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.05A, prohibited hours on January the 19th, 2019. Violation of Rule 4.05B, prohibited hours, January the 19th, 2019. Violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, on January the 19th, 2019. Violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, on January the 23rd, 2019. Please come forward.
But all those who are going to testify, raise their right hands, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
What is your name, ma'am?
Tonya Gosh.
Okay. Good afternoon. So you have 4 violations charged. Are you familiar with them? Do you understand them?
No.
Okay. So the 3 of them relate to operating after hours in violation of your license. And one of them, it has to do with the fact that your charter was forfeited by the State Department of Assessments and Taxations for failure to pay your personal property taxes as of January 23. Have you corrected that yet?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Okay. Do you admit that that you were operating after hours on January 19th?
No.
Okay. Who's going to testify? Inspector.
Agent Chris Malice, Baltimore City Liquor Board. On or about January 19th, 2019, at approximately 0 to 10 hours, I, Agent Chris Malice, while on duty working with a social task force consisting of members of BPD Vice Unit, Baltimore Housing Special Investigations Unit, and the Liquor Board, conducted an investigation for possible after-hours operations at 2949 Frederick Avenue in the city of Baltimore, state of Maryland, known as Mystic Tavern. We have received numerous complaints about after-hours operations at this location. We staged approximately a half a block from the location on the opposite side of the street. At approximately 027 hours, we approached the location. Once outside of our cars, we could hear music playing from inside the location. When we got close to the side door, we heard a male scream, "It's the effing police." At that time, patrons started exiting the front door. There were so many people that it took a minute or so to be able to make entry. Myself, Detective Greenhill, and Sergeant Leisher entered the establishment, and Detective LeBron and Detective Gatto remained outside to make sure the crowd was orderly. As I was entering, I spotted a black female exiting with a white clear cup with a dark substance in her hand, walking out the door. I got the attention of Detective Gatto and pointed her out. He was able to stop the female and identify her. She stated to the detective that the cup contained Remy Martin liquor and admitted that she had purchased it from Mystic Tavern. We entered, spoke to the manager, explained to him that we were there due to the complaints. He stated that there is a neighbor that has been having issues, that he has been having issues with. We explained both violations, operating after hours and open container. We told him that he will be receiving a summons from the liquor board with a date and time for the hearing. We left the location without any further incident.
Were you the one who determined that the charter was in violation?
That was Mr. Ackers.
Oh, okay. Is he here?
Yes.
Can you come forward and testify as to that violation?
No problem. Should we swear him in?
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thomas Ackers, Deputy Executive Secretary. As part of the charging process, I always review each corporate charter to make sure it's in good standing, and also the trader's license. In this instance, I believe on the 22nd, when I did charge this case, I pulled a copy of the SDAT certification, see if it was in good standing, and it had stated it was forfeited. I believe there should be a copy in the evidence file stating that it is forfeited.
What's forfeited? What's forfeited?
The corporate charter. Mystic T&M Incorporated, the status is forfeited.
Oh, well, yeah, I've talked to the lady the other day. We don't have the corporate part, so that's a zero. I talked to them this week. I'm supposed to be down there the 17th.
Well,
But all I gotta do is give them,
Who holds the license?
The corporation that holds the license is Mystic T&M
Me.
Incorporated. Yes, the corporation owns the license, and you may be the individual license holder. But I'm just presenting to the board as a copy, and it's marked as Exhibit Number 2, indicating that the corporate standing has been forfeited.
Okay, thank you.
Since when, though?
Hold on, sir. What's your name?
Marvin Gosh.
Marvin?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
On the date,
You gotta use the microphone, too.
on the date that the matter was charged, I believe it's January 22nd, 2019, the corporate standing was forfeited. I believe that's in the charging documents as well, which were received by you and served on your, the premise.
Yeah, you can go online and find out what your status is. I don't know if it will tell you when it was forfeited, though.
yeah, she told me I'm supposed to go on and print out some papers so I can get that part filled out by the accountant. I just talked to her last week.
For the record, I just have a copy of the charges that were issued to Mystic Tavern. And on there is the violation for 4.16 illegal conduct, finding that Mystic T&M was forfeited at the time of charging. And there's a signature for receiving the
I think
charges.
Mr. Kosh's question was, when was it forfeited? And we don't know when, but it was not in good standing on that date.
Because we never received none. Well, I know I haven't seen a copy of it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, anything further?
What, any question?
Yeah, do you have any questions or anything you want to tell us?
Well, the music was off when they came in. It was no liquor. I thought I was doing good because we had to find recently. The music was off. Cleared it. You know, the bar was off. We wasn't serving liquor, so we wasn't operating. The security left, and we did have an altercation in the back. So we were trying to deal with that, but that's the only thing. I mean, and then the police came in. They did come in a large group. So I don't know. You know, people might have scared or whatever, but people were. It wasn't like it was maybe like 5-6 people were left in there.
What's your closing time?
2 a.m.
Who were the 5 or 6 people?
My sister, the bartender, me, Marvin. It was like, but then like you said, it was still people actually in the building. It was.
When we arrived, which was well after 2, it took us a couple people at that point. We arrived at the location at 2:07.
You guys came in the building at 2:07. I was talking to you at 2:07.
Right.
That's what I have in my report. We pulled up at 2:07, and we had to wait a couple minutes because there was a large crowd. Once they saw that we were there, a large crowd was then exiting.
Only thing I can say is we closed early. We was trying to.
Read that it was so difficult for us to get in because of the influx of people.
I'm sorry, but you have to identify yourself.
The Detective Gatto, Baltimore City Vice Unit. As the statement of facts was read, the amount of people coming out of this establishment was so great that we couldn't enter. There's 2 doors, one being locked on the side and the other in the front being open. Now, there was approximately 40 people inside this bar because the group that stood around while I stood outside identifying a young lady with the Remy Martin was well over 5 or 6 people. The notion that there were 5 or 6 people is a complete and utter falsehood.
Okay, do you have any questions for the detective? Okay. Anything further?
No.
Okay. Thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents as well as the exhibits introduced by Mr. Akras, the testimony received, I would find a violation of Rule 4.05A on January 19, 2019, a violation of Rule 4.05B on January 19, 2019, a violation of Rule 4.16 on January 19, 2019, and a violation of Rule 4.16 on January 23, 2019. Ms. Kosh, you're you've had the license since 13, and you were here last November for prohibited hours violations then, so it's an ongoing problem. You've got to get fixed.
Can I ask a question? So what time, so the building has to be completely closed by 2 o'clock?
Well, you can't have a group of 40 people
We
leaving at
didn't,
2
but
after
okay.
2. So that's the testimony. Okay. Commissioners have anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay. I would impose a fine of $500 as to each of these violations for a total of $2,000, and I would give you 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.05, small a, prohibited hours on January 19, 2019, and I concur with the imposition of a $500 fine. Find a violation of Rule 4.05, small b, on January 19, 2019, and I concur with the imposition of a $500 fine. I find a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct on January 19, 2019, and I concur with the imposition of a $500 fine. And finally, I find a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct on January 23, 2019, and I concur with the imposition of a $500 fine.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.05, small a, and concur with the imposition of a $500 fine. Find a violation of Rule 4.05, small b, on January 19th, and concur with the imposition of a $500 fine. Find a violation of Rule 4.16, legal conduct, and also concur with the imposition of a $500 fine. And I also find a violation of Rule 4.16 on January 23rd and concur with the $500 fine.
Thank you.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron. Board Exhibit 2, SSTEP printout. Board Exhibit 3, investigation report, Agent Chris Amalis.
Hall Street Blues Cafe, 1222 Hall Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December the 18th, 2018. Please come forward.
Counsel.
Thank you. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of licensee Daniel McAtew is present.
Good afternoon. Would everyone raise their right hands, please?
How do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Admission or denial?
Admission. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This, as you can see, 33 years at this location, Hall Street Blues. Always thought it was one of my favorite, most memorable bar names in Baltimore. But they've done a pretty good job over the years. And Buck Croson, who's here, he has over 30 years as a bartender experience. He calls himself the oldest bartender in the neighborhood. So, if I may. So, Mr. Croson has never been violated for an underage sale or anything in the 30-plus years that he's been a bartender. The bar did have a violation in 2015 where a bartender had closed the place too late. It's been 14 years since the last sale to a minor at this establishment, so I'd ask that you consider all of that. Thank you.
Were they cooperative? Okay. Commissioners?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, your admission and any testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.01A on December 18, 2018. I would impose a $1,000 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 18, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine and 30 days to pay.
Find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, and would concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine.
Thank you.
Article exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Amalis.
Case number 9, Cooper's Tavern, 1702 Thames Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December the 18th, 2018. Please come forward.
Would you raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Are you Mr. Russell, sir?
Yes, I am.
So, Mr. Russell, do you admit that this happened on December 18th?
Yes.
Okay. So, you can tell us what happened, but I have to note that you've had this license since 1997. It's your first violation.
Right.
So what happened?
Well, I also have a license next door. My wife and I have Staunch Irish Pub for 15 years, and I've never been here. And to be quite honest with you, seeing the fines are getting passed down, trying to operate a business in the city of Baltimore has been challenging over the past 4 years. I certainly can't afford it, so I'm hoping you guys will give me a little bit of a break. We have a bartender that served a cadet, and he was terminated at that moment. Every one of my employees has always been certified. I train them all for all my businesses. I've got a couple in the county as well. Take my licenses very seriously. It's how I raise my kids. And you walked next door to my Irish pub, and you were denied service. And just so happened to catch the right guy at the wrong time, and he's no longer employed by us.
I understand. Were they cooperative with you? Very much. Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate your candor, and on the basis of your admission, the other materials contained in the charging documents, testimony received, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on December 18, 2018, and in light of your excellent record, I'd impose a $250 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sales to minors on December 18, 2018. And I concur with the imposition of a $250 fine.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on December 18th, and as the chairman said, given your record over the last 20-plus years, I would also impose a $250 fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Madam Constables for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice.
Stadium Lounge, 3351-53 Greenmount Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on November the 14th, 2018. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kudensky representing the licensee.
And would all those involved please raise your right hands? Sir.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Admission or denial, Mr.
This will be an admission in this particular case. The young lady here who made the service mistakenly thought that she had recognized the person who had came in to get served and thought it was a prior customer, and it wasn't. Noticed they were drinking Fireball. Usually younger people order Fireball. You know, it wouldn't be something that I would order. But as a result of that, Mr. Kim went out and had all his people certified. I'll give you copies of all the tips. Oops.
They'll be received.
In addition to that, he went out and ordered a scanner. Spent $900 for a scanner, just to make sure on it. And he has, I think he did get a letter from Mary Pat Clark.
Oh, did we get a letter? We received a letter, which you may or may not have seen, from the Waverly Improvement Association.
They don't usually give those to me.
We have to talk about the letter because they seem to be saying that he's doing well, but they also asked for a sanction. So,
And I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, you know. And I think that if you read the letter from Mary Pat Clark and also it's a mixed bag. She was here. Wasn't she here today? Her aide? Am I talking out? Here.
I hadn't seen it, but it's in this packet, I understand.
I think I got one. It's a nice one. It's in the color.
There's also a letter from Senator Washington.
Those letters I don't get.
But in any event, did you have anything
They're
further?
saying they're making progress and
I
they're getting
understand
along
they're
with it. So
saying
it's a mixed bag. I'm not saying that, it's not all peaches and cream and roses and the thing, but I think
Well,
they
it's
have.
better than the last time everybody was here.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think it's one of the kind of things where, and I'm not gonna really, business is not easy in the city nowadays and everything's going on, and I think he's made steps to get his people certified. The young lady is, very embarrassed about the thing, and also he went out of his way to hire to buy a scanner, which is, I think, a step in the right direction there.
I recognize you folks, but you have to state your name for the record.
Mr. Kunthun Threely, I'm the co-president for the Waverly Improvement Association.
Sir.
Kunthun, K-U-N, S as in Sam, U-N.
Sweely?
Yes,
And did-
S-W-E-E-L-E-Y?
yes.
Are you the one who wrote us the letter, sir?
On behalf of the Waverly Improvement Association, yes, sir.
Okay. And did you want to add anything?
Yes, we at the Waverly Improvement Association want to remind the liquor board that this is a violation of not just the law, but also the license attached MOU. However, we have not received any community complaints in the past year from with regards to the stadium lounge. Because of that, we are requesting the liquor board to impose a fine and a license suspension. And we hope that if you grant the license suspension, that we are willing to sit down with Mr. Kim and his attorney and try to work out and get him in full compliance with the MOU, because he's in compliance with most of the MOU, but not all of the MOU yet. No, but it should be on file. So we would like to have the license suspended, and during the suspension, we would like to sit down with Mr. Kim and his attorney and actually work this out and have him in full compliance with the MOU, and also have him in full compliance of being a BD7. We want the Stadium Lounge to return to be a neighborhood gathering place. Thank you.
Okay. And ma'am, I recognize you, but can you tell us your name again, please?
Barbara Valeri, V-A-L-E-R-I. I'm a resident of Baltimore City. I'm a member of the Baltimore Good Neighbors Coalition leadership team, and I'm appearing here today in support of the Waverly Improvement Association and the position that they've taken vis-a-vis the Stadium Lounge, calling for not only a fine but a suspension as well. The Baltimore Good Neighbors Coalition submitted a letter to the board, and in that letter, we make the recommendation that we take one step further in trying to get this particular licensee and this particular community group out of this room for as long as possible, and that is for your community liaison person to play an active part in meeting with the community association folks, Mr. Kim and his lawyer, to basically plan out and schedule the remaining items of the MOU.
I got to say something, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but, this board for a couple of legislative sessions tried to just codify something exactly like what you're suggesting. And we tried over and over to the opposition of community folks.
I hear you.
And it's a shame.
I hear you.
It's a shame
I hear
because
you.
this system could be up and running.
But this has been, this particular MOU has been a condition of the license for over 2 years.
I don't think we have any problem
Right.
in asking our liaison person to work with you all. That we'll be glad to do that.
And come up with a concrete plan for the resolution of the items. And I think the certification of his personnel is a great move forward. And I think he's going in the right direction, and we'll be happy to come to the Stadium Lounge.
Okay, thank you. Were they cooperative with you? Okay.
I don't want to get into the MOUs. We were here, and I know you let the other people talk. I think this should be treated the same as with the other cases, isn't it? Now, the other part of the program is up to them to get together, and I agree with Commissioner Greenfield. You have a liaison, you have all this. It only works if it works. But I can't get anybody, the one on Hartford Road, I got to work. It took me forever. It was torture. I'm getting old.
We take recognition of that, Mr. Kaninsky. I do note that there is a specific provision in the memorandum of understanding dealing with sales to minors, so if it's a part of the license, it's a violation of the agreement as well as of this. Commissioners have any questions?
Nothing further.
Okay. On the basis of the admission, the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, as well as the exhibits, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on November 14, 2018. Last sale was just about a year ago, 11 months ago, and you know that there's been a history that's been protested by the community, but a lot of progress has been made. There is a memorandum of understanding. There seems to be some goodwill among the parties, and the request, I think, is reasonable that we ask our liaison to work with you all to try to iron out any remaining difficulties, and I'm pleased to hear that they're not getting a lot of complaints at the moment about this establishment. So I'm going to have to resist your request for a suspended license on this record, but I would impose a $1,000 fine, and I would give them 30 days to pay it.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a sales to minors on November 14, 2018. And I concur with the $1,000 fine given the fact that there haven't been any complaints and it sounds like they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I would agree with Commissioner Hafey and the chairman. Given the work that's been done by the community and the licensee, I too would find a violation of Rule 4.01A, impose a $1,000 fine and no suspension.
And Mr. Kim, we're going to ask our liaison to contact you or Mr. Kadensky and the folks from the community within the next 30 days and see if we can make arrangements for such a meeting, okay? Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Thanks to everyone.
Good luck.
I'd call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Inspector Perez. Community Exhibit 1, letter dated 2/1/2019 from Senator Murray Washington. Community Exhibit 2, letter dated 2/3/2019 from Councilwoman Murray Pat Clark. Community Exhibit 3, letter from BGNC dated 2/1/2019. Community Exhibit 4, letter from Waverly Improvement Association. And Community Exhibit 5, email dated 2/1/2019.
So are our folks here on the Indulge nightclub?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Recalling Indulge Nightclub, 403-05 East Baltimore Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, a Class AE adult entertainment license, here for violation of Rule 4.08A. On October the 11th, 2018, violation of adult entertainment rule 3.05A, October the 11th, 2018. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Thank you. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of licensee.
Could I ask those who are going to testify to raise their right hands, please?
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Admissions or denials?
It's an admission.
Okay. Let's just get the facts for a second. Your name, ma'am?
I'm Agent Mango with the Comptroller for the State of Maryland.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Can you spell
I'm
it?
sorry, I apologize. Agent Michelle, M-I-C-H-E-L-L-E, Mangold, M-A-N-G-O-L-D.
And were you
my
the-
ID number is 0052.
Ms. Mango, were you the one who did this investigation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're the one who found the 61 bottles of alcohol that couldn't be verified?
Correct.
Okay. Did you want to address that?
Very briefly, no, Agent Mangold's report is very thorough, so I don't have any questions for her, but as far as mitigation.
Were they cooperative with you?
Yes. He allowed me in to the establishment because they hadn't yet unlocked the doors. I kind of met them there just as they were getting ready to unlock. I explained who I was, let me in. He gave me the receipts that he did have, advised he didn't know where any other receipts were. I would like to add that I did go out of my way to check with Republic National and a couple of the businesses to see if I could find maybe some more receipts that he didn't have to try to help him out, and they advised there were no other receipts.
Did he, in your estimation, did he understand what his obligation was?
Yes.
there are only certain approved wholesalers and that sort of thing?
Yes, I mean, yes,
Okay.
yes, because he understood when I said, when I explained I needed the receipts, he knew which receipts to bring me, so.
Have you been back?
I have not been back to indulge.
Okay. Do you want to be heard in mitigation?
Thank you. First of all, my client wants to apologize for being late here today to the
Are you
board.
Mr. Savoy?
Yes.
Thank
Not Mr., are you you're Mr. West? Are you?
No, this is Donald Savoy, the licensee. I've
Oh,
met
okay.
Aaron West, so yeah.
Okay.
That must be the manager or something.
Right.
Okay.
So this is their first year in operation. They, unlike most of these cases you'll find, the licensees have ruined their credit with the distributors, and that's one of the reasons they go to liquor stores and buy stock. That is not the case in this case, as Mr. Savoy uses distributors. What's been reported to me here, there was an annual event, a private party that was held at this bar under different names in the past with the LGBT community, and their private booze was brought in for this private party, which I'm pretty sure is against the rules and regulations. Nevertheless, there was a dispute about payment and some damage to some plumbing, and it's my understanding that the licensee said, well, you're not getting your booze back until we get paid for our toilet. Now we've got booze sitting there for a week or two, and that's not supposed to be there. Mr. Savoy now fully understands not only does he have to order from the distributor, he cannot have booze on premises that he does not have receipts for from Maryland distributors. And so that
He also
will,
understands he has to get paid up front.
exactly. So thank you.
Well, I have just a question. So if that were accurate, then the rest of his inventory would have been covered by the receipts you had?
There were only a few bottles that were there. I went through each receipt, had them remove bottle per bottle for what I had on the receipts. Now, the receipts were dated back to February, when that was, I think March was the last date of a receipt for this business. But I removed bottle for bottle that I found, and 61 bottles were left. So that's a large amount of alcohol that was left. 9 of the bottles were back in a storage room, unopened, and the rest were in the front. So the receipts that I had, only a few of the bottles even matched the receipts. Most of the bottles on the receipts were 1 liter bottles, and most of these were not 1 liter. They were 750s or 1.75s.
Okay. Anything further?
No, thank you.
Nothing.
Did you have something to add?
Go ahead.
Agent Chris Amalis, Baltimore City Liquor Board. This is the first time I've actually met Mr. Savoy. I've been to the establishment over 15 times. So after the hearing, if maybe you can come and let us know who the manager is, because he's been posing as the owner. And also, what is your licensed leased area? He told us that the whole right side is not leased by you, and that we couldn't go there, and he didn't have keys to a lot of the office space that I know he uses as a private office. And just some contact info for you and the manager. Thanks.
I mean, as far as I know, it's the same phone number that's been on the transfer application that I filed a year ago. That's how I got in touch with him
Know why
today.
he's making these representations,
Yeah.
but he shouldn't be. Okay. Commissioners have anything?
Nothing.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials containing the charging documents, the admissions, and the testimony received, as well as any documentary evidence, I find a violation of Rule 4.08 small a on October 11, 2018, and a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05 small a on October 11, 2018. I'd impose a $750 fine as to each and give him 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.08 small a on October 11, 2018, and I concur with a $750 fine as to that violation. I also find a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05 small a on October 11, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $750 fine.
I find a violation of Rule 4.08, small a, on October 11th, and concur with the imposition of a $750 fine. I also find a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05, small a, on October 11th, 2018, and also concur with the imposition of a $750 fine.
Thank you.
Medical exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, State Comptroller's Incident Report. Board Exhibit 2, 6 photos.
Ms. Page, is that our docket?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. The board is in recess until 11 a.m. Thursday, February the 21st, 2019. We are adjourned.